Starting now. Good afternoon for all of you. Thank you very much for joining me today in this webinar, which will be mainly about women in construction. This is Noorah Al Otaibi, project engineer in KBR-AMCDE company in Saudi Arabia in Khobar. I am majored in interior architecture for my bachelor degree in 2008 from University of Dammam, and I'm having master's degree in construction management from FIU, Florida International University in Miami, 2017. So briefly about KBR-AMCDE, it's one of the biggest entities in Saudi Arabia providing general engineering and project management services under Saudi Aramco, a Saudi Arabian oil company. It is such a pleasure today of having me and giving me a chance to talk about how women are empowered, enabled, engaged in construction industry in general. And I'll be more specific talking about women in construction sector in Saudi Arabia. So if you have any question and answers, please to just leave it at the end of the presentation. Time will be dedicated for questions. So the outline of today's webinar, it's going to be started with the role of women in Saudi Vision 2030, and then I'll briefly talk about the important steps which have been taken forward for women in Saudi Arabia, and then we will see at which level she matters in construction. And I'll briefly also represent status of women in construction in the first quarter of 2019, and then I'll shed light on some major role models in Saudi construction industry. After then, we'll talk about, briefly obstacles and challenges we are facing in construction and engineering industry in general in Saudi Arabia. And after then, at the end of the presentation, we will see how lead companies empowers female in engineering and construction industry. We'll talk about real practices and activities. And I'll dedicate this point talking about my experience with KBR-AMCDE, the current company that I'm working in right now. Following the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's ascension to his role in 2017, Saudi Arabia has been focusing on realizing Vision 2030. So they created an ambitious plan which is set to modernize Saudi society and strengthen its economy. So the key part of the 96 strategic objectives, which forms Saudi Arabia Vision 2030, reforms targeted towards improving the lives of women in the country. Saudi Arabia has been pushing for more women to take up, not just to work in workplaces nowadays, but also to take up top leadership positions, either in government sector or private sector. It has reformed different facets of its legal structure, procedure, just to give women more rights, and it's transferring its public sphere to be more accommodating to women. So it's been created for more opportunities across various sectors for women to be able to work in. So nowadays, women in Saudi Arabia, women's participation actually in labor market in Saudi Arabia and the utilization of local female labor will assert women's role in the Saudi market, and it aims to promote the economy. So they, as much as we have female in our labor market, we will see the very good and a very major impact on society and also in the economy. Continuing to develop women's talents, skills, and also their energy will inevitably strengthen their position in the decision-making posts and also career hierarchies, and will also enhance their contribution towards the development of society and economy. This forms one of the main pillars of Kingdom's National Transformation Program, which will its feedback and its result would be noted during 2020, and the vision also 2030, which aims to mainly to increase women's participation in the labor market from 22% up to 30%. So this is the aim for 2030. On the other hand, Saudi women's work will contribute towards reducing also the unemployment rate from about 12% down to 7% by 2030, which will positively impact the kingdom's localization strategy and also support its effort to invest in, train, develop, and also qualify male and female both national talents and support the growing needs of the Saudi market. So in the next slide, I will briefly present the major 96 strategic objectives which form Saudi Vision 2030. One of the major strategic objectives, as we see here, increase employment. And this could be achieved by ensuring equal access to job opportunities in Saudi market. And this also could be highly achieved by increasing women participation in the labor market. And this will be successfully achieved by important steps have been taken forward for women in Saudi Arabia. In the last 5 years, especially, the government has taken major steps to get women into the workforce. The variety and depth of the reforms is notable, remarkable, and indicates a methodical approach to reversing one of the lowest rates in the world. For example, in the early 2018, the Saudi government announced plans to establish 233 new childcare centers in the kingdom for those who are unable or unwilling to rely on grandparents maybe or helpers as their primary source for their children. So they can make also those centers are helping them to take care of their children, so they can focus more on their objectives, their career development. As well as there is a major steps, like the government also offers $200 a month of childcare subsidies to working for those working regarding the woman. Moreover, in response to women valuing work time flexibility, labor laws are supporting of part-time work, which includes social security, overtime, annual leave, and also sick leaves. And also one of the major things that maybe created of obstacles for women to be succeed in their career, the driving issue. And finally, it's gonna be it's removed like two years ago. And those for me it was very easy because I was driving when I was in the USA, and when I just came to Saudi Arabia, I just replacing my USA driving license with the Saudi driving license with the full support and full ease things. So this eliminating a massive barrier to women working, and it's also likely that aforementioned relaxation for travel restrictions, when this removed, this eliminate the male guardianship system. So all these changes and modifications to labor laws and the guardianship system during the last 5 years have also eliminated the legal requirement for women to acquire their male guardians' approval to work, maybe travel. So this allowing women to make unilateral labor force participation decisions. I hope that everyone is hearing me very well, right? Perfect. Also, one of the major steps taken forward for women in Saudi, the government has also applied what is called Saudization codes, requiring businesses to employ a quota of Saudi citizens much more strictly than before. So Saudi Arabia plans to overhaul its nitaqat, which is called nitaqat program, as the kingdom aims to decrease Saudi unemployment percentage from 11.7 down to 7% by 2030. The scenario of Nitaqat program could also include the scenario for this step could also include lowering subsidization codes for certain sectors, especially in contracting and construction industry or companies in Saudi Arabia. Encouraging also companies to employ higher ratios of Saudis to foreign workers and increasing women participation. So mainly Nitaqat program classifies, the companies into 4 categories based on the entity's performance relative to their economy, type of business, economy, their economic activities, and size also of the company. The entities would be classified into 4 classifications, as we see here: excellent, green, yellow, and red. Excellent represents that the company achieved highest percentage of localized their employees. Green, like a good percentage. Yellow, it's a low percentage, and of course red, it's under acceptance percentage. Now we'll move to talk about, in more specific, why she matters in construction. How female leaders are making an impact on the construction industry. We can see here that the percentage of employment female in Saudi market was 7% in 2010, and it's raised up to 16.5% at the end of 2019. So how female leaders are making an impact, a positive impact on the construction industry by changing company standards, mentoring other women, inspiring a new generation, and also increasing the bottom line. How female changing company standards. Female leaders play a crucial role in eliminating the challenges other women face in construction. They participate in female recruitment efforts, promote retainment and advancement of women, and push for better benefits. So we can see here a Glow Work, which is one of the recruitment forum in Saudi Arabia. So we can see that women helping, each other to get developed and also get trained to be qualified to enter a workforce. Here we can see that women or female mentoring other women and inspiring a new generation. Female leaders can also serve as valuable resources for their peers, inspiring their careers and encouraging them to advance in their careers also. So it's a good chance to talk about engineer Shayma Al-Shayib, considered the first Saudi engineer specializing in construction. She has established the Female Saudi Engineers account in media, which is considered the first forum for female Saudi engineers inside and also outside Saudi Arabia for gathering female engineers from various specialties to develop their profession, their career, and also enrich knowledge exchange in general. In an attempt to further invest in this account success, Shayma Shayib created also another account, which is called Saudi Civilians Without Borders, which includes male and female Saudi engineers. So we mean to support each other, not just to have a female, and much more successful or participation more than female. So we are asking for equality and also, competing with each other in a very successful environment. It seems like my voice is cutting off and on, so everyone is hearing me, right? Okay, perfect. So we'll talk about now the increasing, how female increasing the bottom line of the companies. A study called, okay, perfect. A study called Delivering Growth Through Diversity has been conducted by McKinsey & Company in 2018, found that companies that had diverse executive team, including women, were 21% more likely to be more profitable than the average. As the construction industry continues to grapple with the challenges like productivity and labor, there is a growing space for women to enter the field. It's not just a matter of equal representation, but also female leaders are making a big impact on the industry, as well as companies are taking notice. So now we are moving to know about status of women in general in Saudi market. This is a brief chart that shows that a percentage of female workers in Saudi market in 2019, 16.5%. And we'll be focusing now much more in the construction industry in Saudi. We can see here in the left chart, the employment, the pie chart here, the employment percentage in the Saudi construction and contracting sector by end of 2019. The expats, having 85.39%, while Saudis, male and female, represents 14.61%. When we see here, when we're focusing now here on a Saudi male and female, we can see that by end of 2019, a male represents 10.61%, while female still in 4%. But we are, during our vision of 2013 to having more female in specifically in construction and engineering sector. Now it's a good chance to have some slides for our role models in Saudi construction oil and gas industry. It's my pleasure to having Nabila Tunisi here just to talk about her experience. She's expert in construction and engineering industry. She said, "Never in my wildest dreams did I think Aramco would ask me to be a chief engineer." This was in 2016 interview with Forbes. To become a chief engineer of world's largest oil and gas company, with engineering being traditional, and conservative all over the world, especially in oil and gas, it's a huge responsibility and privilege, and it is for female. So as GM, General Manager of Northern Area Project Management, Nabila Tunisi was responsible for a program worth $41 billion. Finally, in 2015, Tunisi was promoted to chief engineer at Aramco. So she got a very huge support from Saudi Aramco and also other companies that we will see in the coming slides. Also, we have Rinad Ismail. She is engineer in Saudi Aramco. She said there is a significant support from the company for Saudi women, not only to attract and then provide a quality work environment, but also to accommodate female engineers by developing them significantly and professionally. Over the past 5 years, she was exposed to a range of programs presented by Women Development and Diversity Division that was fundamental in her development. So we can see companies in private sector in Saudi Arabia created a plan for development and engaging more female in the industry. Also, we have here engineer Nadia Bakharji. She's a construction and interior design. She's a construction and interior design engineer. Bakharji is one of the most famous interior designer and architect in Saudi Arabia, and she's also a president of Nadia Bakharji Architectural and Interior Design Consultants. NBA is specialized in providing complete construction, architectural, and interior design consultancy services for high-end projects in community design, housing, education, and healthcare. So we can see here that female in Saudi market got a right support and development from the company in both government and private sector, but we can see it in private sector more, and also they are able to open their own business in construction, in engineering, in services, all these things. So it's a good thing. It was a good start for them. Hopefully, more female that can, be engaged in this career path. Also, we have here Noorah Saud. She's the founder at Noorah Saud Architects and Engineers. Noorah Saud Architects and Engineers, a construction and engineering office with a considerable experience and a lot of passion. They provide engineering, designing services at a high level of professionalism and reliability, and this is also one of the private business of our female in Saudi Arabia. Sarah Al-Hamdi also, she's a construction facilities engineer, with experienced facilities engineer with a demonstrated history of working in the oil and energy industry, skilled in AutoCAD, presentation skills, management crazy, and employee training. A strong operations professional with a global MBA focused in business administration and management general from Yonsei University in Korea. So also some of female engineers in Saudi Arabia got a chance to have education abroad. Some of them in the USA, some of them in Korea and Australia and also Canada. So we have a bunch of successful leaders and successful engineers in Saudi Arabia qualified with their degrees in the industry. Now moving to some major obstacles and challenges that we keep facing during nowadays in the construction industry. One of the main challenges that female Saudi engineers encounter is enhancing the position of female Saudi engineers overall, especially at the Engineers Commission, and to overcome the obstacles that face them during fieldwork. Also, the traditional Saudi culture does not encourage women to go to the field and mix with men. This is a long time ago, but things are changing to a better way now. Despite rapid society change, this problem is to be solved for female engineers, as this perception is affecting their recruitment in general, and we hope that we are overcoming this specific obstacle nowadays. Female engineers also demand that the Ministry of Labor and Engineers Authority provide them with job opportunities, even in consulting positions, not only administration things or just to sit on the desks and dealing with emails, papers. We need to get an opportunities to put hands-on in the projects on the real ground in Saudi projects. Also, one of the major obstacles, Saudi universities should include faculties and departments specialized in construction and engineering for female alongside with other specialties. So female engineering students are not required to travel abroad to study engineering and related professions. Some of them got a chance, some of them they cannot. So we encourage our universities to open up much more, chances to get more specialties in construction and engineering for having those female be qualified in this specific sector. One of the challenges also faced by newly graduated female engineer is the failure of some companies and government offices to employ women by requiring at least 5 years of experience at the time when women do not have chances for training or development. So this might change nowadays for having, a well-organized development and training plans. Also, most of female engineers suffer from low salaries and less opportunities offered from them in both government and private sector, especially for architect engineers, interior designers. This is in addition to the inability of female engineers to open their own business offices after 4 years of work. So this is one of the requirements that needs to be more flexible. Accordingly, these women accept low salaries offered in the private sector in order to gain their experience needed to be open their own business. Now, talking about maybe the last part of the presentation, how lead companies empowers female in engineering and construction industry. As I mentioned earlier, I will be focusing on my experience with KBR-AMCDE family. To support the kingdom's aspiration and ambitions, the private sector has adopted the same values to support Saudi women through offering opportunities that enable the effective participation and engagement of females in developing society. Numerous companies have started recruiting female Saudi talents and qualified who possess outstanding expertise. KBR-AMCDE has a successful story in supporting and empowering women in workplace. KBR is one, as I mentioned earlier, is one such company that has implemented Saudi women's empowerment and development plans in the energy solution sector. KBR-AMCDE is also expanding other businesses inside the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, mainly its government solutions business, in which it's further enhancing opportunities for local women in yet another sector discipline. So throughout its 8 years of operations, KBR-AMCDE has strengthened its local expertise by raising localization rates and employing women in its business on an ongoing and accelerated basis. In 2015, the number of female employees at KBR-AMCDE was 28, which is representing 6% of the company total population, a figure that grew to 41 in 2020 year, which represents 8.5%, forming an increase of 2.5%. KBR-AMCDE's localization strategy plans aim to achieve a gradual increase in female hire and localization rates throughout its various business by 2030. So here in this slide, I'll talk briefly about Aspire, which is in 2015, KBR has launched Aspire program, which is currently focused on Houston, but other locations also are invited to start a chapter, and hopefully Saudi Arabia will be on the top of those locations. Aspire mission, cultivate women leaders and promote gender diversity through a collaborative community for the benefit of employees and KBR. Aspire vision is to make a KBR an employer of choice where women are influencing, leading, and also learning. A brief goals for Aspire program: monthly sessions focus on cultivating women leaders and promoting gender diversity, highlighting KBR women as role models, build the community, internal within regular communication through the newsletter and share points in this link, and external members attend external events like Society of Women Engineers, Women's Energy Network. So we can see that this is a build-up, well-organized, program for developing and engaging more female in the industry. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for joining me. Stay safe, keep distance in this current, situation of Corona. I'm open up of if you have any questions. Firas Al-Jidi, is there any target level for the women workers in the business as measured jobs? As Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia aiming to have 10% of women workers or women participation in the Saudi market. Next question. Can we expect females in all engineering department as all worldwide, civil, electrical, mechanical. Yes, we are, seeing nowadays the females in civil, electrical, mechanical, and also chemical. For example, if I'm talking about KBR-AMCDE, we have civil, we have electrical, we have mechanical. For me, project management, we have female from all different disciplines. Thank you, Firas. Musa, what is the status of women in other engineering fields like mechanical, electrical? As I said, we have female in all different disciplines, and recruiting department in KBR-AMCDE is planning also to have women or female engineers in all other disciplines, like process, maybe other specific disciplines. Is this only targeted to Saudi female empowerment in Saudi, or female empowerment in general in Saudi? This is empowerment and engaging a female in general in Saudi. So we have a very successful story in HR and public relation and customer service and media, as well as in construction, as I mentioned. Are there any dress codes required for women workers in the construction sector in Saudi Arabia? I would say this is a formal, a professional dress code, which is abaya and hijab, but other women in Saudi Arabia can, attend and, work in a very flexible work environment. Is there any specific percentage of appointing women workers? As I mentioned in my presentation, we are targeting nowadays 16.5% in all industries, in all sectors in Saudi Arabia, specifically in construction 4%. Hopefully it's going to be raised up in coming years. Next question, if we need support in terms of hiring of Saudi engineering females, how can you help? Support in terms of hiring? We have procedures, policies for hiring, both male and female in Saudi market, and also specifically in engineering and construction sector. And of course, I'll be very happy for helping you. If can, Alexa, share my contact info. For sure, I can. Can you give us what is the KBR for female in Saudi Arabia? KBR-AMCDE is, as I mentioned earlier, it's engineering services and project management company. So we are now handling a mega project contracted with Saudi Aramco, a Saudi Arabian oil company, and other also companies, whether inside Saudi Arabia and also outside Saudi Arabia. So KBR-AMCDE here, local in Saudi Arabia, they have supported much more female in their environment, and also outside, as I mentioned, the Aspire program. So KBR-AMCDE also supporting us to attend development and enhancing, programs to develop our career and maybe taking top leading positions in the company. Next question, is there any chance to see female project engineers working at sites soon? Actually, they were. For example, if I'm talking about my personal experience, I was working in ISRA project, which is King Abdulaziz Center for Knowledge and Culture. I was working on in the site specifically, working with the workers, dealing with the managers, dealing with the engineers, also with our client, which is Saudi Aramco. And nowadays also many female engineers working on their own projects when we are talking about their own business. they go to outside their sites, they supervision, they are they are responsible for each activities happening and implemented in their projects. You are qualified and experienced. Can you please share your experience in improvement of project delays? When I studied project management in the USA, we were using a Primavera, which is a very smart tool of managing the delays and also managing the activities in the projects, specifically in construction and engineering industry. So we can monitor by using this tool. We can monitor the activities. We can assign laborers. We can assign also their salaries per hour, per day, per week, per month. So we can manage all activities in the project and also all the manpowers during the project. So my experience in regarding the improvement of project delays by using a specific and smart tools, because nowadays we can deal with others like in a very remotely environment. Like nowadays we are working now from home, but we are able to manage the delays, manage the activities during using by using the smart tools. What is the average salary range for fresh women engineers and compared to female engineers? Well, talking about salaries, I'm not the right person, talking about salaries. I prefer to having maybe someone from human resources talking about specifically or shedding more light on this aspect. But the ranges are improving. Like the salaries that we were taking in, for example, 2003 or 2004, after I graduated exactly, it's totally different than the range that engineers nowadays are taking. What value do you think women can add to the construction industry in Saudi Arabia, and how do we encourage companies to hire them? Women are commitment, independent, very responsible of their projects, of their activities, of their own tasks. So women can prove themselves, and then they said we can encourage companies in Saudi Arabia by of hiring female engineers or female female workers in general, by giving them chance, by trusting them, putting them on the right path, and then support them by offering a training plan, development plans, offering them resources to just beginning their path with a very knowledge and very enriched. Women here in Saudi Arabia qualified, responsible, as I said, commitment. They have a fully commitment to their tasks. So just giving them a chance to prove themselves. How do female engineers find the cooperation for their male colleagues, laborers within the work environment? Actually, on a daily basis working, we have seen a full support, a very positive and successful compete between us and male workers. We are supporting each other. We are representing one company at the end, so we need to work side by side, putting plans together, putting goals together, just to deliver, the growth or deliver the good things to our company at the end, and also for our society. Okay, I guess my voice is back now. Good. What was the last question? Sorry. Half question was, well, the female engineer can work as site engineer. I mentioned I was working as site engineer in ITRA project, King Abdulaziz Center for Knowledge and Culture, and I was assigning to follow up the activities and the things has been constructed at the site with workers, with the laborers, also with our client. So we need to make sure that those workers implemented the work specifically and accordingly, and taking the permission and approval at the end of the week by the client. So it was a really nice experience for me. So maybe now we can wrap up our presentation. Thank you very much again to joining me in this webinar. I hope that we all enjoy the presentation, question and answers. And I hope also that I can represent a very small scope of our women development plans in Saudi Arabia nowadays. And hopefully from now up to maybe the next 5 months, 5 years, things are going to be changed to a very better way and very in a very better way. And we can also meet again, maybe in this event.